Welcome back to Good Day Columbia. Time now is 7:13, and this morning some South Carolinians are celebrating after the state Senate voted against changing congressional maps. It was a blow to President Donald Trump's push to redraw U.S. House districts to try to get Republicans an extra seat. One of the biggest shifts came when upstate Republican Richard Cash told the chamber he no longer supports the redistricting effort. The Senate had one last chance to pass it through a cloture vote, but that failed. Here to explain the recent ruling and what comes next is Democratic strategist and a DNC Committeewoman, Bre Maxwell. And we have to also tell you that a Republican strategist is coming on to talk about the same issue within 30 minutes. Ms. Maxwell, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you for having me.
We'll get straight to it, Ms. Maxwell. Why do you believe some of the Republican senators had an about face?
Well, you have to think about it this way. One way of being a good politician is thinking about the people within your district. And that's what a lot of them did. I believe they woke up and realized, listen, people have started voting. People have made their voices known of what they want to happen. And it makes no sense to take away that voice and that power from 50,000 South Carolinians who have already voted. It makes no sense to take away representation because everyone deserves a form of representation. So I believe they was like, listen, we're going to be diplomatic and we're going to listen to the voices of South Carolinians.
Democrats are rejoicing because right now Congressman Clyburn's seat is intact. Are you all worried that there might be a different push to revisit this again?
Listen, as long as Donald Trump is still in office and we still have those spineless Republicans that are in existence, and yes, I think it will still be an issue. But right now we're celebrating the win that we do have, and then we'll focus on that when it comes. But as long as Donald Trump is still in office and you still have J.D. Vance and everyone else and the spineless Republicans that we do have in South Carolina, then I think it will be an issue because even the governor mentioned, listen, one day he hoped that we will have a Republican or a conservative legislator. And even with that in mind, that again, that's taking away voices from people who are Democrats. And so what sense does that make? And as my grandmother would say, not a lick of sense, right? Oh. So it's important that we make sure that people are having their voices at the table.
The state Supreme Court, all this came after the ruling that they said that race should not be factored when making congressional maps. So on that other aspect, why are Democrats fighting to hold on to this particular seat when it's clear to a lot of people it is about race?
Well, listen, everyone deserves a seat and a voice at the table, and representation matters, be it from skin tone or be it from political party. So that's one reason. And then another reason is, why would you want to get rid of someone who has given so much to not only the state but to this country? Congressman Clyburn has done so much, and all the work that he's done compared to a lot of these other elected officials doesn't even match up, and it doesn't add up. And they would love to have had the history and the legacy that he's been able to bring to South Carolina. So it makes no sense to try to get rid of that. And so it goes back to what I said, representation matters, be it from political party and be it from skin tone. Everyone deserves a voice at the table.
Some people, Bre, will look at this and say that was a close call for Democrats. You all are rejoicing this morning, but it could have went the other way because the House voted to advance this. The Senate did not. What's the next play here?
We just have to wait and see. So right now, people are voting. I know, I believe Senator Massey made a comment that maybe we'll have a big Republican push for November. Well, he should get ready for the Democratic push because we didn't put 124 people up to run for nothing. And then, we're going to have Congressman Clyburn that's going to continue to help and aid to make sure. So listen, they should get ready for what Democrats will bring.
We also have the Lieutenant Governor who's been very vocal, and she talked about the push for conservative voices. She talked about pushing President Donald Trump's agenda. Are you all concerned that there is more to this than meets the eye?
I think so. And it also goes back to lack of leadership. A real leader would not make comments like that, and a real leader would not move like that. So, I mean, things like that are to worry, but even with that as the play, you just have to stay 2 steps ahead of people.
So yesterday, a historic voter turnout. In just the first day of early voting, more than 50,000 votes were cast. And according to the Associated Press, 125,000 total back in 2022 for all of early voting. And we still have a week left to go.
Yep.
What do you expect to see?
I expect those numbers to triple, actually. So, we had 50,000 yesterday. Who knows what we'll have today? So I think those numbers will continue to grow, and then we'll get more people registered for November, and then we'll just have more people winning elections.
And what about, Bre, for the primary on Tuesday, June the 9th? If people are voting early now, what do you all anticipate to see on the 9th?
So for the 9th is usually ceremonial. Like, there are a lot of people who like to wait till Election Day. So I think you will have more people who will come out on Election Day because it's Election Day. And so, you know, South Carolina, we have early voting, so a lot of people want to get it out the way so they can spend their time working, volunteering on campaigns. So I think on Election Day, we'll just have more people out voting.
And for the final question, Bre, speak to the point that for some people, they say that this failed attempt was bipartisan because you had some Democratic senators and Republican senators who said, wait, this is not what South Carolina needs. Are we gonna see more of this in the future, you think? So
I think that the art of bipartisanship is important. And as long as we continue to elect people who realize that working across the aisle is important, because that's how you fix South Carolina, that's how you transform South Carolina, and that's how you listen to the voices of the people in South Carolina. So some elected officials have to learn how not to be selfish and how not to live in their bubble, and how to learn how to step and think outside the box. And once we do that, we can have this amazing South Carolina that we all deserve.
Bre Maxwell, Democratic Strategist and DNC Committeewoman, thank you so much for being here this morning. We appreciate it. Stay with us. There's more Good Day Columbia coming up. And of course, in about 30 minutes, we'll also have a GOP strategist talking about this very same issue about redistricting. We're back after this.